Do your kids use smartphones, or have you given them smartphones? Well, I guess it'd be the same thing if they use them. or are you thinking of giving your kids smartphones? That was the other one that I was going to say. So today we're going to tackle 6 reasons why you should not give your kids a smartphone, and talking about some research that is done by, what are the 2 authors' names?
I don't know how to pronounce the second one.
I would say Haidt, the author of Anxious Generation.
And Claire Morrell.
So we're going to go over
Tech Exit.
Tech Exit.
I know the names of their books.
Yes. And Monica's she has listened to more about this than I have, but we're going to tackle the 6 reasons why, based on what they say, the 6 reasons why we don't give our kids smartphones.
Yes.
And then hopefully at the end, we'll give you a little bit of solution on what to do if you really want to be able to give your kid a smartphone, or if you don't.
Or you want a solution, like, what do I do? Okay, so I'm convinced I don't need a smartphone, but my kids need
carrier
something.
Pigeon.
Yeah.
Or you can use a owl, like in Harry Potter.
Let's just open a can.
We just lost so many listeners have now tuned out, and good riddance for. I'm kidding. Stay here, please. All right, so
listen to this podcast first.
All right, so the first reason number 1, Monica, you can go off. This is one of your things.
Okay.
Right, either this or NFP.
These are my 2 soapboxes. I actually straddle them. I have one on each foot. All right.
That's inappropriate. Sorry.
Reason number 1. Early smartphone use fuels mental health risks. People don't get depressed when they face threats collectively. They get depressed when they feel isolated, lonely, or useless. John Haidt.
From the Anxious Generation.
Okay. And he argues that phone-based childhoods drive rising anxiety and depression. He recommends no smartphones before high school. And he's actually like pushing that. So that's in his book. And then now if you listen to that interviews, he's even pushing that towards like 16 for like driving and such. But yeah, so the big thing with smartphones in as far as like mental health and mental wellness is that the things that teens are facing is not different by being on the, like, a lot of people are like, oh, social media changes things. Well, they're still experiencing like bullying. They're still experiencing like comparison. Those are all things. Those are very common teenage experiences, but now they're experiencing them in isolation instead of a group. So that is his theory of why it's fueling mental unwellness, is that the phones, they're creating more isolation in the common experiences. It's definitely changing the format of those experiences as well.
That's interesting.
Right. But his bit is that, like, yes, like bullying and looking at what other people have and what I don't have, and jealousy and envy and wanting to be part of the popular crew or wanting to be successful in this or what have you. Like, those are all still, those exist on the phone, or they exist in the classroom. They exist in social situations. But the big difference is that it's happening just on a screen and you're all by yourself. So you don't have someone to like talk to about that and process that with. You feel even less like you don't have friends because you feel so alone. And as opposed to when it used to be like everybody went to their own house in the evening and like everyone was just with their families, or everyone was just in their room, or and now you feel more and more alone because you look at what other people are doing.
That's interesting. And I think as we go through these, I would also challenge us adults who are listening to a podcast. Is this some stuff that we struggle with too? Because I think there's more things coming out now that like, it's not just the teens' attention spans that are reducing, or teens that are having more anxiety or depression due to the smartphones, but it's also affecting adults. Older adults too, like all the way to their 60s, 70s, like those who have smartphones, those who love Facebook and love posting things about your kid's going to get sick if you don't tell them that you love them type things on Facebook, right? Those chain emails. So yeah, consider that as well. Because like we are all experiencing things in isolation where we shouldn't be experiencing certain things in isolation.
Sure. And I mean, like, and that was one of our goals, is to like speak into that in that realm of like, you're not alone, and you're like, this is how family life might look, because there's a lot of filtered and a lot of marketing out there that is disguised as normal family life. And I think it can be hard to distinguish. So you feel isolated, but also at the same time, like, yeah, we're still speaking into the social space, and that may or may not be healthy. We're telling you to listen to this podcast and then
get off,
hightail it out of here.
Now, can I find the next, there it is. Next slide. Okay, reason number 2.
I'm going to keep reading.
Oh, I can read it.
Oh, okay.
Reason number 2 that you should not give your teen or preteen or baby a smartphone is that smartphones steal time from real life play and growth. Jonathan Haidt says play is the work of childhood. And the reality is that screen time replaces our outdoor play and real friendships, and it harms the development of kids. And I think particularly in the time that your kid starts entering puberty, right? There's a lot of development that happens in how they interact. Like we've seen it now. Like our oldest is 11, going on 12 soon, and the way he interacts with us is different now because he's getting older. He's desiring new things. He wants different things from us. And if you insert a smartphone that now becomes like a third parent, it really changes how he'll interact with us, because like he's not going to need us for certain things. Like if he has questions about things, he's not going to ask us anymore. And I know as a kid, like you learn a ton from your friends, but like you said before, like there's a time where that stops. Like you learn a ton from your friends in school, but then once you leave school, like now you have more freedom. There's more things that I could do, free time, whatever. But if you always have a phone, then there's no outdoor play. It's just let me grab my screen, and that's going to be my pacifier for whatever I'm feeling at the moment.
Yeah. And we see this, like, I know that we're talking about smartphones, but even just like other personal handheld devices and like anything, again, going kind of piggybacking on reason number 1 with this isolation, but then just giving our kids a screen to pacify them, to kind of keep them busy, to keep them occupied, because kids are frustrating. They are annoying. They are asking for a lot. Like I don't discredit like the desire to want to give them something, to have you like, please be quiet for a few minutes so I can think or do what I need to do, or like stop interrupting me so I can focus on what I want to do. I totally get that temptation and I don't discredit that at all. But that is creating such a cycle of damage for them, because it delays their development and their growth, because they should be playing. Like they learn so much through play. They learn how to be social. They learn how to use their bodies. They learn how to critical think and problem solve. They learn how to be bored and how to like no longer be bored, because they have to figure out how to not be bored themselves. They learn how to play with their siblings. They learn how to talk to you. They learn how to like, it requires more effort on your part for sure at the beginning to help them like get to that. But then long term, it just helps their development so much. We were with a family last night for dinner who like we model a lot of our parenting off of, and they were joking in this bigger setting of everyone that was in the room of like, oh yeah, just go outside, I'll call you when it's dinner time. And the crying rock, like if you're upset about something, here's the crying rock, and when you're ready to rejoin, you can go back in. And so it was into the game, and I just was like laughing, but I was like, oh, that is so good though, for the like sitting with the hard and like sitting with the uncomfortable feelings of I'm frustrated, I'm bored, I'm tired, I'm not getting along with this group of people, and like still like encouraging them to re-enter instead of like, oh, it's okay, here, this will make you happy. And so it's so important to have them be present.
Right. Because like development for kids and teens is more than just like physical development, but the way that they process things. And like you just said, I watched a YouTube video on this, but the diminishing attention spans of just humans in general, and how in the last 100 years, like how we just have a significantly diminished attention span, and that we can't really sit through. The example they use is presidential debates, that the early presidential debates with Lincoln, for example, the opening statement for a debate was about an hour long. And like imagine having to sit through a 3 to 4 hour debate between presidential candidates where the opening statement was an hour long. Like we can't do that. And it's not like insulting to us. We shouldn't feel insulted by it, but the fact that TV has changed the way we interact with the world, and that now the smartphones have changed the way we interact with the world. Like development also has to do with our ability to just stay on a task and focus on a task, or find ways to, all right, this task is too much for me. I need to take a break. A break is not a sudden dopamine hit from a phone, but like, okay, I'm going to go take a walk, or I'm going to go play with my friends, or do something else. We don't have that ability anymore. And if we start, like we as humans do not, like we adults do not have that ability anymore. We have to regain it. One of the ways you regain it is by reading books, which I'm trying to do more of. There's another tangent, but for our kids, I want our kids to have a better attention span and better ability to function within themselves than we do. And the best way to do that right now is to not give them a phone that completely disrupts their natural ability and development in that realm.
Yeah. I mean, there's that common phrase of like when you see an adult who's dysregulated or frustrated or angry or what have you, and you're like, you just need to go touch grass. Like,
yes.
that is absolutely what our children need to, like, just send them outside to go play, send them to the basement to play, send them to the family room to play. Like, just like go touch, like go be
Yes.
tactile, go like do and be. And like when kids play, their whole self is involved in the activity, and it's real, even if it's like imaginative, like they're so involved in that. And then when we redirect that wholeness and put it like into a screen, they feel like that is our
Yes.
whole world. Like they have, because that's where their development is. They're so, like, especially children, they're selfish by brain development. Like
Yeah.
they think only of themselves. And so when they're put into an isolated world, like then that fosters that, instead of social settings where they're starting to learn that they are not the only ones, and that there are other people that want to play, and I want to play with other people. And so it's really important for them to, like, touch grass, to be grounded in like play.
There's more I want to say, but maybe it'll come up in the next slides. All right. Reason number 3, social media drives comparison, bullying, and addiction. Claire Morrell calls screens, you love this when she said this, that she calls screens digital fentanyl, arguing moderation is not enough. And then social media exposure damages socialization and mental health. Monica went off when she heard the phrase digital fentanyl, because she's like, this is exactly what it is. And I agree 100% as a current digital fentanyl addict. It is 100% that to me.
So we've kind of talked about the comparison and the bullying part a little bit, but the addiction part of social media and just even like games on the phone, like the use of a touch screen is this digital fentanyl. That like there's not like we have our screen time limits when it comes to these personal devices, because there's that instant gratification and the immediate response to, like, I do this and something happens and this is fun, and the flashing lights and the way that the algorithms are set up, everything is to make you want to keep using it. So in a child's brain, they've done brain scans that, like, there's a fentanyl user, because there's no like small amount of fentanyl that is okay for you. Like, so their brains respond the same way a fentanyl user's brain responds when they're using screens.
Oy. So one way to prove this to yourself, like I think this is self-proving. Go put your phone on grayscale. So like in my phone, if I set up the grayscale, so if I press to the side 3 times, it automatically goes to grayscale, and it looks like someone threw up. Like, it's absolutely, it is the worst. It's so, one time Monica I did it to hers too. One time it got stuck on grayscale. She didn't know how to get it out.
How to turn it off.
And she didn't want to tell me because she was embarrassed. But so like if it's on grayscale, one thing you'll notice is you're not going to want to look at it as much. The same information is there, the same ability to interact with the world is there, the digital world is there, but you're not going to want to look at it as much because the lights aren't as gratifying. Now it becomes, like, back to our diminishing attention span, now it becomes a task to try to focus on your phone, and you're not going to want to do it. You're going to be like, oh, I want the lights back. Oh, it's actually hard to see. No, actually, you just like the way it looks. Yeah. The reason why all of our notifications are red is because red, for some reason in our brains, makes us feel like we have to look at it. Now, me being an ADHD contrarian, I see red and I say, don't you tell me what to do. I'm not looking at this. So then I just amass a massive amount of red notifications
all over, and Monica has to get rid of them.
Yes.
I hate the red. Oh, I'm going to forget, all the things.
But like, one thing we forget as consumers is that we think that there's a freedom in that. Like, well, I bought this, so therefore I know that I'm getting what I want. But the reality is that, like, these companies have made all of these products in ways to get us to spend more time on them. So like, it's not just like, again, in another YouTube video I watched, it talked about how movies are now made so that the plots, like, movies aren't as good as they used to be. Like, there's certain movies that are made, like the straight to Prime, straight to Netflix movies. They're made in a way that you can watch them while also scrolling. So like, their storylines aren't as intricate. Their acting is not like as much as, like, you really got to focus on this acting. It's made in a way, written in a way that teens can now watch them while they're scrolling, because they know that's how most teens consume their media. Like, they'll have scrolling and be streaming and then also watching a movie. So like, we are being manipulated to do this. So like, if you think like, oh, I can do this in moderation, like, no, the end goal is for you to have 3 screens up at once. And if you've ever been scrolling and be like, how did I get here? You have the addiction, which I admit 100% I have, and I'm trying to break.
And so, and along that line with this addiction, if having a screen for your children, or even for yourself, if this is something that you're like, oh my goodness, I want to, like, break this habit, I'm just going to be very honest and clear that like the research shows that you will go through withdrawal symptoms because your brain has become actually addicted, like being addicted to fentanyl. So there will be like, you will be frustrated. You might even sweat. You might feel sick. Like and same for your kids, but like, that's worth it, right? Like if you think about like, would I willingly give my kids drugs? I would hope most of you would say no, but like this is the effect that we are having on our kids. And so like sometimes you have to make the hard decision to like button down and like for a week, for 2 weeks, this is going to be really, really hard and no one in the home is going to be happy. But
it might be months. Sorry.
Sure.
It might be months.
But like working through that in the long run will be so helpful for your family.
Next slide. Reason number 4, screen overload disrupts sleep, focus, and emotional health. Research shows excessive screen time fragments attention and sleep cycles, and constant notifications and scrolling erodes patience and peace. We kind of mentioned that a little bit. We didn't mention sleep though.
Yeah. So the blue light in particular, like the way that the colors of your screen and the way that it goes to your eyes is like awakening. It wants you, like you want to be awake. It alarms you. It kind of it prompts the dopamine and it gets you excited. And so even though your eyes might feel tired and you're like, oh, I fall asleep scrolling, but like it's not allowing for the same kind of sleep.
Yeah. And Dr. Andy Galpin, who's actually a friend of Dr. Andrew Huberman. So Huberman has his own podcast, and then Andrew Galpin has like a sports science podcast. He was talking about it that like, he says that the research on blue light is like up in the air. Some say it's fine, some say it's not. I disagree, but it's fine. He knows more than I do. But he was saying that like for sure screening at night disrupts sleep because also you're getting emotional input that your body has to deal with. Like you're getting new thoughts, new things are coming in. So like you're not relaxing.
You're not passive.
No. So like it's also, you feel like you're passively receiving, but like you're being told so many emotional things in like 30-second clips or 15-second clips. You're getting all of this information and you have to do something with that. You don't have people to talk to at night. So you're just kind of sitting with yourself. So like you end up more anxious and that doesn't make for good sleep either. So blue light, and I think the amount of input that you're getting at night just isn't healthy.
Yeah. And then constant notifications and scrolling erodes your patience. Like you don't have the endurance and then to like do more because you just want to, this is boring, or I need to like find more information about this thing that you find that, and the algorithm feeds it to you, right? Like it can tell that you stayed on a certain subject for a while and then you keep scrolling and you see more and more and more of it. So you want to know more about it. And then it's like the conspiracy theories against it or whatever. And you get so hooked into it. And it's like, this doesn't actually affect my real life.
One thing I struggle with the constant notifications is I have a my phone is set so that it automatically goes to do not disturb if I come near our house. So like as soon as I start like driving towards the house, it automatically goes to do not disturb. And then once 6 p.m. hits, automatically goes to do not disturb because I get a sense of anxiety whenever I get a text. It could be anybody about anything. It could be happy things. You could be telling me you're giving me things. But if I get those texts, like I get a like, oh shoot, what does this person want? What is good? Like, what am I going to have to do based on this text? And like, I need to, and I know for myself, like I need to be in a state of like, everything is settled for me to be able to handle it. And if I just got home and the kids need me, and then you're also texting me about things like,
and either I'm trying to catch up on the day.
So either I'm ignoring the text or I'm going to be ignoring my kids, and I'd rather ignore you. So that I'm just, but like, I can't imagine what it's like for a teen has all these things that teens are dealing with, plus then having to get people have access to you all the time. So you're constantly being reached out to through things like Snapchat. It's not text messages for them, like Snapchat or TikToks. Like, it's a lot to have to deal with.
So personally, one thing we've done is we've like not shut down, but like muted several of our group chats so that like anything that's like an emergency won't happen in this group chat. So I can mute it and I'll check it when I have time to kind of catch up and socialize. It might also be like on Do Not Disturb, you can have certain people be able to break through Do Not Disturb so that like I know I can come through, and then a few other people that like if you're reaching out to me, it's important. So their phone calls can come through or what have you.
Except when those people are my father who's texting at 10:30 about things. I'm like, I don't need this right now.
Fair.
Gets kicked off the Do Not Disturb list.
There's ways to not just completely shut down because you feel like but I need to be able to like answer my kids if they call, or like,
Yeah.
you know, this particular person, if they call, it's important.
Number 5.
Smartphones compromise privacy and safety. Kid face tracking, data collection, and exposure to inappropriate content. Height and Morrell warn that unprotected online lives harm development.
Yeah, and this is something that teens won't understand until they're adults, that like everything you put on there is permanent. And not only that, like they don't have a concept of like who can see this. So like I know our kids, for example, have said at times like, oh, I want to make videos, I want to go viral, because they've heard other kids say that. And I'm like, you don't know what that means. You don't want that many people knowing who you are. Like it's not like, we know for this is not going viral. All 20 of you who watch this is great. But like there's just, they don't have a concept of that, of people knowing who you are, of people collecting your data so they know exactly what you're going to, so they can sell more things to you. Like they have no concept of that, so they can't really consent to it well. So that's just a danger they put themselves in by having a smartphone, putting their pictures up there, putting their dance videos up there. Like they don't,
and they don't realize that they're getting fed certain things because of what they post about, because of what they look at, because of what they like, and things like that. And so like one thing that can really happen as far as data collection is they could be like get ads for buying a lot of things, and either they could go broke buying things that they didn't know existed.
They can make you broke.
They can make you broke. Or they could just like get scammed into a thing that like doesn't actually exist, but seems like you would like to buy this thing, so I'm going to trick you into buying it.
Teens are the new grandparents of, no, there's no African king who needs your money.
And then exposure to inappropriate content. Like I know that pornography is a big like fear of a lot of people. So I do think a lot of parents who give their children smartphones try to put on like safety restrictions and safety data, like to prevent. Can you not interrupt me?
I'm trying so hard.
To prevent like pornography from seeping in, but then there's also inappropriate content of like violence or just things that they don't need to know yet at 13, 14, 15 that is out there that is meant for adults. Like it's adult content, and they are not developmentally prepared to receive that information and to sort it out and to think critically on it and to make a wise decision going forward.
Okay, come here. Those of you that are in your 30s, 40s, and 50s with kids, I can guarantee you 110% they know how to use a smartphone better than you. I don't care how tech savvy you think you are. They know how to use it better than you. So whatever parental controls you put on, they know how to get around it. Like it's not, because I remember being a kid with the internet and my parents thinking they knew, they don't even understand like what was possible on the internet until I would show them. And I did not show them all things I could do on the internet. And I guarantee you, your kids know, if you give your kid their own smartphone and then you have one, they know how to do more things than you do, because that's just the way their brains they work. They don't have the same, like they don't have the old brains that we do. Yeah. So like for example, you can get on pornography through Spotify. You can get on pornography through Google Maps, Pinterest. Like you could use so many things to access pornography and not even realize that it's not like they just go on Pornhub. Like that's not what happens anymore. They can do it through other means. Like they can go through Roblox. If you don't know how to, like if you don't even play Roblox, you have no idea what's capable in Roblox. So for parents to think that like, well, I have controls on, like you can't think that. You have to assume, even who I know, my wife calls me the tech guy here. I'm not the tech guy. And I understand that like if I were to give my kid my phone, he will quickly within 6 months surpass what I know to do on it, or what I know is capable of it. And then they'll be able to access things that I don't know they can access. So if we don't have the humility to admit that we are old and that the technology is beyond us, we are putting our families in danger. That's it. End scene.
Yeah. And also like acknowledging that we're old, right? Like, so us millennials, instant messaging, we had chats like AOL chat, right? And chat rooms and stuff. That still happens. This private messaging or these group chats, these group things, like they happen in all of the video games that your kids have access to. They happen in like, now it's happening on it's going to be happening on Spotify, that all of the apps are allowing for this DM personal messaging option that our kids will be able to get a hold of. And then strangers can just start talking to them and pretend that they're not strangers, and they start forming relationships. Oh my gosh, AI. And you can have a fake girlfriend.
So it's not as safe as you think it is. Reason number 6, and our last reason why we do not give our kids smartphones, or will not give our kids smartphones. Early smartphones delay maturity and independence. Height says that kids today are overprotected offline and underprotected online. unsupervised digital exposure replaces learning independence in the real world. So again, they're overprotected offline, underprotected online. This goes through like if your kid has TikTok, if your kid has Snapchat, if your kid has access again to Spotify, things like that, you like not just what they're listening to, like you have access to so many audiobooks, so many things on so many platforms that if you like, you would not let that many people come into your house to have one-on-one time with your child, but that's what's happening through a smartphone.
Yeah. And in this like delaying maturity and independence as a teacher, a coach, a youth minister, and you as a coach and a youth minister can absolutely affirm that after 15 years of being like in the workforce or what have you, of being with teens, their maturity has declined greatly in what they're capable of doing, just like to take care of themselves, and then their maturity in social interactions. Mm-hmm. And yet they still know about more things than they should. And their brains just don't know how to do that because they're exposed to content that is higher level than they should be exposed to. And yet they haven't had the opportunities to like practice that in real life and see what that looks like on a Wednesday in a social setting or what have you. Like they don't know how to do that. And so they've been like trained to just look at their phones and poke and scroll. So they're overprotected offline. So the parents are intervening in places where the kids should be learning how to handle themselves in a classroom or at work, or just like how to fix their own car and fill it with gas, or like social situations. But then they're underprotected online. So the parents are not aware and not being careful of how they're using their phones. And so because of that, the kids are lacking in maturity because they are being educated by the phones, but not knowing how to like go and do that in real life. And so the two together is causing a really big lack of maturity in teenagers.
And so this is our solution, at least that we're implementing within our family. Besides, we are not going to give a smartphone that has full access to anything. So but what we've done...
Our solution is because we do feel like our kids need access to a way to communicate when we're not around.
So right. So what do you do if you accept all these 6 reasons, and either your kid already has a smartphone, or like, all right, I understand smartphones are bad. Thank you for all the reasons, but I still want to be able to call my kid if they have to go to a party or a practice, or I still want to be able to access them, or like I also want to use it for education. Like if my kid's driving, what do I do? So this is what we actually end up doing. Starting this month, actually, we ended up getting a Gabb Phone 4, which is a very different type of smartphone. It has no internet browsing. It has no social media apps, no ability to download a social media app. It has GPS tracking, and it has filters with text and video calls. So like we can actually control who our kids can talk to and what comes up in their text messages.
Yep. So with the Gabb Phone 4, there's, again, like Renzo said, there's no social media apps, there's no data, there's no Wi-Fi, there's no internet at all. But we were realizing like our kids are starting to go places without us, and we're kind of dividing and conquering. So sometimes we're not in the place that we need to be at exactly the right time, or they might finish ahead of time. They're at friends' houses and they maybe need to tell us that this is not a safe place to be. They're uncomfortable. They need to come home, even if they are just not feeling well.
Or even like we just had recently this past week, one of our kids ran into a transformer, started bleeding out of his head, profusely needed to go to the hospital. And then we had to leave our other kids at practice. Which, like, we let them know what's happening. Hey, we're gonna, you're gonna go with our friend. You're gonna be okay. Blah blah blah. But like, I still wanted them to be able to access us somehow, and not having something to give them to be like, if you need me, call me, right? Like they had no access to us, and like that. Just,
and in case things changed,
we had no way of communicating with them.
Went along, yeah.
Right.
So we have just come to the point in our parenting that like we do need to be able to communicate with them, but we don't want them to have games on their phone. We don't want them to have social media. We just want them to be able to text and call. So at first we were thinking about getting one of those like burner phones from Walmart, but where that lacked is, one, it's not actually as cheap as we thought it was, but we also wanted the GPS tracking. So in case our kids were not responding to our text messages like kids do, we wanted to make sure, like, are you still in the same place that we dropped you off? Are you still, like, maybe you're not answering because practice went long, or you dropped your phone somewhere and you can't find it or whatever. So we did really want that. And also it allows us to, they can only text and call or receive text and calls from the people that we have put on our side, like the app on our side.
Yeah. So like we have there's an app within our phone that can control their phone. So like our app will say, these are the contacts that have tried to access them. Who do you give permission to access them? Because like one of our kids on his Gab phone, he was getting calls from unknown numbers, but like those are automatically blocked. He can't answer them because he's
see that.
And we see that. And the only people that he can interact with on those phones are the people that we specifically allowed for interaction. So, and what's nice is that like as he gets older, we're hoping to keep these phones and then like, all right, a friend wants to be able to text, like, okay, you can text this friend. But then it also will flag any risky texts that are sent. So anything with inappropriate language, anything with inappropriate pictures will automatically get flagged so that they're not seeing things they're not supposed to be seeing on their phones. And one feature, I don't know if you saw this on the app, it actually tells you how long they've been on the phone, and then it gives you a bar of like what's unhealthy. So if the kid is on the phone way too long, say he's just texting, it'll let you know so that you could be like, hey, you got to tone down the screen time. So like there's a way of using the tool of a smartphone without giving it a complete unfettered access to the internet.
And so for us right now, because our kids are the age that they are only getting it when they leave the house without us, and then it's put in a cabinet for the next time when they get home. Yeah. So they don't have it throughout the day.
Right. So they know they can't use it as like, oh, I just want to text so-and-so. Like, no, again, I'm big on like be present with the people that are in your house, that are present with you. If you want to interact with a friend, they have to come over. But I don't like the people can access you anytime, because again, that stresses me out. So I don't want that to be something they have. So again, they have their home phones at home. So like if we leave the house and they're home with grandparents or something happens, we don't have landlines. So now they have the Gab phones to be able to use this to call us, to text us. They could also call 911 from the phones. But it's encourages like a slow dripping of what technology should be used as. So like it's giving them a framework of responsible technology use. So it's not giving them a technology is all bad, but also it's a tool that we can use to make things easier, better, but not something that we should use for complete entertainment and disconnecting from the world.
So this phone tool is used just as a phone tool.
Correct.
Like this is what you get to use it for, because that's what it's made for.
So if people want to buy a Gab phone, where should they go?
All right. So if you would like to check out the Gab Phone 4, and maybe it's something that will be good for your family, you can check out gab.com/promo/to-become-family, or you could just go to gab.com. And if you do end up deciding to order, you can use the code to-become-family to get a discount.
Yes. And I will put all of that in the show notes, and we'll keep you updated on social media, how it's going. We have not like announced it or anything yet because we wanted to see how it worked. But now that we've used it for the last month, we're very happy with how it's working. So if you want to join us for that, and if not, if you just want to complete screen free, please continue to do that, because we think that is very good for your family. And if your kids already have smartphones and like they don't want to go backwards, it will be hard to go backwards, but we do support you and pray for you and recommend that you go and do the hard.
Yeah. And we'll link the 2 books that we noted in this podcast as well. The Tech Exit by Claire Morrell, and then Anxious Generation by Jonathan Haidt.
Thank you. And we will see you all at the next episode.